Welcome to study session 4, the process of listening comprehension. Introduction. The process of listening moves through 5 steps: receiving, attending, understanding, responding, and remembering. In this session, you will be examining this process and its relevance developing listening skill. Learning outcome. When you have studied this session, you should be able to 1. Identify the elements of the listening process. Process of listening comprehension. Receiving. Human listening fails because receivers simply are not connected or tuned in to the senders. Sometimes the problem is a physiological one. For example, the receiver has a hearing deficiency due to a congenital or inherited weakness, or perhaps the deficiency resulted from an accident, a disease, or prolonged exposure to loud noise. Attending. You must attend to the message if the process of listening is to continue. Suppose that I'm working on something else when the message arrives. My computer signals that I have mail from you. I want to read it, but I decided that I would do it later. I continue to stay busy on another task. However, I forget to read the message. Later, I may mistakenly trash it without ever reading it. Whatever the case may be, I didn't attend to the message. Human listening is often ineffective or does not occur for similar reasons. Receiving occurs, but attending does not occur. At any given time, numerous messages compete for our attention. We therefore must choose whether consciously or unconsciously to attend to some stimuli and reject others. 3 factors determine how those choices are made. Selectivity of attention. We direct attention to certain things to prevent an information overload. A common example makes the point. Suppose you are attending to read a book and watch TV at the same time. Although some people claim they can do this. Actually, both activities serve and usually one more than the other. The material that is most engaging or interesting will attract your attention. At other time, something may interrupt or disturb your attention. Strength of attention. Attention is not only selective, it possesses energy or strength. Attention requires effort and desire. In the example of reading a book and watching TV, the receiver, reader, or watcher directed his or her primary attention towards either the book or the television. Complete attention can be given to only one stimuli at a time, and necessary attention to only a limited number of stimuli at the same time. If we spend too much energy on too many stimuli, we soon will not be paying attention to any of them. Still, another measure of attention strength is the length of time that the story of something continues to influence us. Sustainment of attention. Just as attention is determined by selectivity and strength, it is affected by time of sustainment. Our attention wanes, and this fact is important to an understanding of listening. For example, we can listen to some public speakers far longer than we can listen to others. Duration may depend on the subject, the setting, the way the speak is packaged, and on the speaker's delivery. The mind can only pay attention for as long as the body can wait. Understanding. Communication begins with understanding. A message may have been sent and received, and the receiver may have attended to the message, yet there has not been effective communication. Effective communication depends on understanding. That is, effective communication does not take place until the receiver understands the message. Even though you read or hear every message, but that does not mean understood the message. There are several possible reasons for the misunderstanding. We often hear or read what we expect rather than what was actually said or written. Verbal symbols. Verbal communication means communicating through the use of words, whether spoken or written. 2 barriers obstruct her understanding of verbal communication. Barrier 1. The same word means different things to different people. This barrier is a common one, and it may be experienced whenever any two people attempt to communicate when the same words mean different things to different people. Misunderstanding occurs. Barrier 2. Different words sometimes mean the same thing. Many things are called by more than one name. We listen more effectively when we consider the message in relation to its source. Good listeners always consider who the sender of the message is. Knowing something about the sender pays big dividend when it comes to understanding the message. Non-verbal symbol. We use non-verbal symbol to transmit many times more information than our verbal symbols carry. We communicate non-verbally through action factors, non-action factors, and vocal factors. Each suggests a barrier to listening. Barrier 1. Misinterpretation of the action. Eye contact, gesture, and facial expression are action factors that affect the meaning we attach to a message, because any movement or action carries meaning. Barrier 2. Misinterpretation of non-action symbol. The clothes I wear, the automobile I drive, the object in my office, all these things communicate something about me. In addition, my respect of your needs for time and space affect how you interpret my messages. For example, if I am to see you at noon but arrive 15 minutes late, my tardiness may affect how you interpret what I say to you. Barrier 3. Misinterpretation of the voice. The quality, intelligibility, and variety of the voice affect the listener's understanding. Quality refers to the overall impression the voice makes on others. Listeners often infer from the voice whether the speaker is happy or sad, fearful or confident, excited or bored, intelligibility or understandability. Depends on such things or as articulation, pronunciation, and grammatical correctness, but variety is the spice of speaking. Variations in rate, volume, force, pitch, and emphasis are some of the factors that influence our understanding of the speaker's message. Since effective communication and effective listening may be defined as the accurate hearing or understanding of meaning, responding then is a form of feedback that completes the communication transactions. It lets the sender know that the message was received, attended to, and understood, but a response may be needed, or at least helpful, and there are different types of responses. 1. Direct verbal response. This may be spoken or written. You may respond verbally. If your message asks a question or sought my coordination, I might type a response on my computer and reply you. 2. Responses that seek clarification. I may use email to ask for additional information, or I may talk to you either on the telephone or face-to-face. I may be very direct in my request, or I may just say, tell me more about it. 3. Response that paraphrase. I may say something like, in other words, what you are saying is. A paraphrase gives the sender a chance to agree or to provide information to clarify the message. 4. Non-verbal responses. Many times a non-verbal response is all that is needed. Indeed, it may even be the preferred type of response. The knowing nod of the head, an understanding smile, or a thumb up may communicate that the message is understood. 5. Remembering. Memorization of facts is not the key to good listening. Yet, memory is often a necessary and integral part of the listening process. Some will go so far as to say, if you can't remember it, you were not listening. This statement is often untrue. Think, for example, of the times you had a good joke but can't remember it long enough to get home and tell it you were introduced to someone and can't recall the name 5 minutes later. We often say, I can remember faces, but I can't remember names. At times, something will jog her memory, such as hearing another joke, seeing a similar product on the grocery store shelf, or meeting someone else with the same first name. Study session summary. In this study session, you have been taught the structure of the listening process. You have explored the interrelationship between the components of this process. End of study session 4. Thanks for listening.